Oracle decks are something that I don't use strictly by themselves for the most part. Every once in a while I will, but in general, I use them as clarifications or as extra messages in tarot spreads that I use. So my collection of Oracle decks has always remained relatively small, and I am very picky about curating that collection. But when I saw the next deck and its amazingly beautiful artwork, its unique and different structure, and its fantastic out of this world quality, I could not hesitate in purchasing it. So today we're going to be diving into the Threads of Fate. Hey Tarot Tribe, it's Dustin from A Modern Metaphysic Man, and today I thought we could hang out and take a trip through the Threads of Fate Oracle cards. I was super excited when I saw this deck pop up because it has this really beautiful sort of gold foil stamping all over and through the deck, and I'm just a huge fan of it. I don't know why, I just think it's really beautiful. It brings light into the cards and energy. So yeah, this deck is amazing. I'm so happy I got it. As I said in my intro, I don't have a ton of Oracle decks, and when I saw this one, I knew I instantly had to have it. So it comes in this really nice sort of two-piece box that is sort of foil stamped on top. The back has just some examples of the cards, as well as the threadsoffate.com website, and they have an Instagram as well. And then the sides just have these different little sort of suit associations with the cards. Inside the box, and the box has that sort of rose petal finish. There aren't any really like thumb cutouts, so it is a little tough to open. But there's nothing on the inside of the lid. You do get a really nice guidebook. It's really beautiful. It also has this gold foil stamping on it. The covering is that rose petal finish, and on the inside you'll find tons and tons of information about these cards. The introduction I thought was really interesting. So it says here, this deck was made to help you establish a deeper relationship with yourself, your intuition, and all the allies, guides, and spirits you may work with. The most important thing is that you feel empowered to unlock your own personal medicine. There are a total of 55 cards, 32 elemental cards broken into 4 suits: earth, air, fire, and water. In the booklet, you can find each of these cards has an overall message as well as an associated herb, crystal, and animal, which I thought was really cool. There are an additional 23 throne cards. These are persona/archetypical, as well as larger concepts. Within the content of these booklets, these cards offer action as well as the shadow or unbalanced aspects that may manifest within us. So there is a good balance of light and dark represented in this deck, which I absolutely love. And then it talks about how they made the deck, working with the deck. They do offer some different spreads for use with the deck, and then it goes into the meanings of the cards, which is really wonderful. So each card has, again, an elemental association, and then an herbal. It gives you the herbal and the crystal association, which is really cool. So there's tons of information to be had here that you can work with and learn from. And yeah, it's really cool. Now, the archetypical cards, I believe, have different sort of featured artists and content creators. So each of those has it says card feature, and then it tells you about the influence of the person that influenced that card, right? So it has, information about what they do and where they create content, and where you can kind of get in touch with them, which is really cool as well. So I thought that was a really neat addition to this deck. So that's the book. Now, the box doesn't come with a ribbon. I added this because this box is larger than the deck of cards, and it has this sort of foam. It's like a fuzzy foam, which is really nice. It's like soft. It has this little insert, and the cards can kind of slide around underneath. So I popped it out, and I tossed a ribbon in it just so it's easier to lift the cards in and out of the deck. So that is why I did that. And the cards themselves are wonderful. They are truly, truly wonderful cards. The entire deck is gilded with this antique gold, which is very akin to the Moonchild, Starchild tarot decks. And then the backs have this really lovely design that's gold foil pressed again, and it has this sort of starry element. This deck does remind me a lot of the Starchild and Moonchild tarot. And I never have gotten her Oracle deck because that deck to me was the most effeminate deck. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it was just too much leaning on the female energy for me. And so I just never felt drawn to use it. However, this one I think will complement those decks really well. So I'm really excited not only to work with this Oracle, but in conjunction with the Starchild and specifically the Moonchild tarot, which I adore. So the card backs are really nice. They are not reversible, but that's okay. It's an Oracle deck. The stock is amazing. It's a nice sturdy stock. The cards have that rose petal soft feeling, which is just, it's so luscious. And then the cards themselves are amazing. So this is the Alchemist card. So as you can see, each card has, it has like a background image, right? Or painting. And then on top of that, there are sort of illustrations done. And then there is this gold foil stamp technique done on them. So they're just absolutely beautiful. So this is the Alchemist. And the first chunk of cards, I believe, are what are kind of like the major arcana cards, right? They're the bigger sort of concepts and things like that. So we have Ancestors, Ascension, and they're just beautiful. And I'm trying to catch some of the light so you guys can see that. Ask Body, which I think is a wonderful one to follow what your body's telling you. Boundaries. Boundaries are always a good thing, establishing boundaries for yourself and for others. Compassion. Connect to heart. They're just really beautiful cards. Now, the imagery that's used, a lot of the imagery in the book, it's described as being intuitively drawn. So the imagery may not always directly associate with the concept on the card in a very clear manner. However, when you go and you read the description of the cards themselves and sort of the artist's intent, it makes perfect sense. So this is one of those decks that I definitely would encourage you spending time reading the guidebook, exploring the guidebook with the cards. I love this death card. It's absolutely beautiful. But exploring the guidebook with the cards so that you can really understand why the artist chose the imagery and the symbolism that they chose for these cards. But they're absolutely beautiful. The Explorer, Fate, Get Creative. I love that one. Get Curious. Get Wild. Higher Perspective. Manifest. Movement. Nature. Paradox. Patience. Play. I love these dolphins. Power. Reclaim. Like a cat face on there, which is really cool. Reflect. Release. The Revolutionary. Love. Sacred Destruction, which is a really interesting card. It's a really, let's jump into the guidebook really quickly and look up what Sacred Destruction says. As far as, if I can find it quickly. Okay, Sacred Destruction. So, this card indicates that a choice must be made. It asks you what needs to die today. Maybe it's limiting. Maybe it is a limiting belief, an old inherited pattern, or a toxic relationship. Whatever it is time to let go. Sometimes, once we identify what needs to go, it slips easily from us. Other times, it's slow. It's a slow cycle of releasing, and then losing our grip of our attachment. Be kind to yourself. In this process, we establish attachments to things that do not serve us, but knowing sometimes doesn't serve us. But knowing something doesn't serve us, sorry, does not mean it's easy to let go, especially if it has become part of our identity. This process requires patience, practice, and self-compassion. And then it talks about the symbolism, right? So we can kind of see the whole owl figure that is appearing here, right? And it talks about that, right? The owl, what that means. And then it also talks about the herb and the crystal associated with it. So really cool concepts, really nice meaning. And the creator does go into, the creators, they do go into what their intentions behind the imagery and the symbolism is, which is great. Sacred Sexuality. The Sage. Self-love. Shadow. Shared Wisdom. Soul Work. The Sovereign. Speak Truth. Strength. Surrender. Take risks. Risk. The Creator. The Magi. The Observer. The Outlaw. The Pillar. The Seeker. The Universe. The Void. I love this card. The Weaver. Transmute. This is another really beautiful card. Trust. The Underworld. Versatility. The Warrior. The Wildling. And Withdraw. I love this Withdraw card. I love foxes. So that is the Threads of Fate Oracle. which was created by Blair Porter and Britt June. I'm not sure if I said that at the beginning. But as always, I will put all the information about the deck creators, their information on where you can find the deck and learn more about them and all that in the description below. So be sure you check that out. Also, you'll find links on where you can book a personal reading with me and connect with me through social media. So let me know in the comments below what you thought about this deck. I would love to hear what your thoughts are. It's really beautiful, and it definitely makes me want to check out. They have 2 other versions of this deck. One is sort of a darker themed deck where they've changed some of the background imagery or darkened the background imagery. The other is just a matte black deck with this sort of rose gold foil stamping on it, with just the black and sort of what is foil stamped in this deck on the cards, so none of the background imagery. So there's some really cool options that they have with this deck, and I'll probably end up picking up all 3 at some point, hopefully. I really enjoy it. It has some really cool messages. It has some different concepts, some different sort of ways of looking at things, and the inclusion of like the herbal and crystal associations and things like that. It's just really wonderful. So I'm really happy with this deck. You should definitely check it out. Again, let me know what you think in the comments below. And as always, I super appreciate all you guys coming to hang out and check out the tarot and oracle decks with me. And yeah, I hope everybody has an awesome, wonderful, and safe week out there. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.